day today is Treasury Wine Estates. Now, no news today, but we still do have Treasury, one of the best performing stocks, after its investor day that was held yesterday. So TWE expects to reduce its portfolio from 76 brands to fewer than 30. This is to transition to a portfolio centered on what it calls power brands and regional heroes. 10 brands are expected to contribute around 90% of group sales revenue within 5 years. It will cut vineyards in Australia and New Zealand by 30%, and it's expecting EBIT for 2026 to come in between $480 and $490 million. So that's a reaffirmation of those expectations. And I think the inventory commentary was pretty positive as well. So after yesterday's 13.2% gain, still seeing some gains coming through today. Citi upgraded the stock to a buy with a $5.50 price target, noting the absence of any downgrade to FY26 or FY27 earnings expectations. Also saying that longer-term margin targets also imply upside to market forecasts. Morgan's is also a buy. Macquarie is still neutral on the stock, saying the pathway to growth remains unclear. And Ords says that the target margin for earnings of more than 25% over the long term is, quote, ambitious. Let's find out what my guests reckon when it comes to Treasury Wine Estates. Heath, I'll start with you.
Yep.
They're obviously trying really hard to turn the ship around. Is it enough?
A lot of it is out of their hands, unfortunately. There is a global wine glut. I'm lucky enough to be on the doorstep of one of the greatest wine regions in the world, in the Barossa in Adelaide, and I've got a few clients that help run vineyards, etc., and they're really struggling. Prices are quite low. Demand is obviously coming off as well. That China rebound really hasn't happened yet. The Americas is still stalling, and this is just not in Australia. This is globally. We're seeing a real wine glut. So. Their luxury brands are seeing some growth around. I think it was around 1% growth in the luxury brands. I can't see much value here for Treasury Wine Estates at the moment. There's too much uncertainty within the stock for me. We may have a large weather event here in Australia, in El Nino later in the year, and into next year, which could affect the growing of grapes and etc. So that could impact them as well. I like companies where you can get their earnings and be quite certain with their earnings, and unfortunately Treasury Wine Estates do not fit that bill for me. Okay,
so let's get acquainted with the rules of this program. So what we do is sort of ask for a buy, hold, or sell recommendation on the day.
Yep.
And oftentimes we don't have the context whether anybody already owns it. So
Yep.
Would you say that the outlook is so uncertain that you would sell it even?
Yeah, I'm a sell here.
Got
Yep.
it. Jonathan, I will not reacquaint you with the rules of the game, but I will say to those of you watching, don't forget, and I do say this every day because I think it's important, and obviously we have new viewers and listeners, I hope so anyways, it's information only. This is not personal financial advice. You need to do your own research or get some advice, okay? All right, Jonathan, Treasury Wine Estates.
They're turning the ship around and doing it quite well, and that's why the stock prices have rebounded over the last couple of days. So they've cut costs and they're streamlining their service. And as you said, there's a wine glut there. And I think the fundamental problem is that the next generation just aren't drinking, and it's a global thing. I mean, I'm trying to do my best to prop up these stocks.
Same
here. Yeah.
But unfortunately, my demographic, I'm in my 50s, and basically, we can't increase our consumption.
Not recommended.
Yeah, exactly. I am trying, but it's not recommended. So with that being said, I think the fact that they've kind of turned the ship around, so they're overpaid for, I think, Dow Brands, that was their last acquisition, and they're streamlining things, and the fact that they're cutting, I think, 100 million off the top line in terms of expenses, tells me that they understand that they're in a difficult position. They've overpaid, and they've responded to the market, and the fact that the initial jump and an analyst upgrade tells me that I think the lows are in here. So I am a little bit more positive on Treasury Wines. I don't think it's going to shoot it out of the park, but I do think it's a buy here. And as I said, I'm a bit more of a shorter term outlook trader, but I think that 13% pop has a little bit more to it because the analysts are behind it now. I think there's a probably good, another 15-20% move from here.
Got it. Well, this is going to be fun if we see a bit of disagreement. All right. That is the stock of the day. Treasury Wine, a sell and a buy from my guests.